So yeah, thank you for coming along. So we've got Peter here from Humantechnik.
Good morning.
Humantechnik, we've had a relationship with even the previous distributor that has lasted probably a good decade, and we've done many jobs. We've done educational facilities, we've done churches. I was explaining to Peter that it's a funny thing hearing loops, because every time you get a job, you seem to learn something new. So it'll be a different design, it'll be a phase array design, it'll be privacy loops and whatever else. So having Peter's contact details, that's going to be a great asset for you guys. So we'll hand out some brochures, but keep Peter's details. One of the other exciting things, and one of the key reasons why he's here today, is because we're expanding the range. And John already has on order a number of Humantechnik's new products. Ben Marshall also did a little YouTube video. So if you write Humantechniks into Google, Ben will be probably one of the first people that will appear on YouTube, and he'll take you for a quick run through the headphone range. So obviously hearing loops, we've got an aging population, and Peter was actually alluding to it, other issues, you've got festivals, you've got iPods and whatever else, all of these devices running at high volumes. Hearing difficulties, that's actually something that's affecting a huge proportion of the population. So yeah, Humantechnik, German company?
They are German.
German company. Very high quality. So I'm very excited to hear what Peter's got to say.
Thanks very much, Mark. Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Dudkowski. I work for Medicine Technology, so I'm a distributor of various products, and I thought I'd just, give you just a very brief idea of what medicine does and the products that we sell. So with actually sort of key product groups, obviously see audio, visual, digital or signal distribution and cable accessories. And when we look at actually audio component of it, we've got Humantechnik and Europa. So just to give you a bit of a history, so Humantechnik started about 30 years ago, and the owner of Humantechnik did it very much for a personal reason, because his sister is profoundly deaf. So he figured the best way to help her communicate is just to come up with a device that will enable her to do so. Over a period of time, the range has expanded, but there was also strong interest from the actually commercial side of the business itself and commercial enterprises. And that's how Europa came about. So as Mark alluded earlier, with Europa, if I perhaps just give you a bit of an idea about Europa product itself, Europa range itself, if my slide just gonna work properly. With Europa, you basically got induction loops, you got IR systems, transmission systems, and what we're gonna do is just have a quick chat about, or perhaps go over Humantechnik, which is a domestic range. Now, if you can just stop for a second and look at actually Europa induction loops, you may come across various commercial clients that have different requirements, different needs, where you may need to assist them with actually induction loop designs. Now, we can do designs for you, so long we're actually drawing to scales. We can recommend either actually low overspill loop, which gives you sort of complete privacy and contains the sound within the room itself, or we can do less expensive parameter room design, depending on the need. So we can discuss those as well. What I've found over the last 7-8 months, there is a strong growth, and I suppose because of installation, move towards infrared transmissions itself, or IR designs as they called. So to address that, because there are various sizes of rooms, it could be basically a small conference room, it could be university, it could be schools. We've got complete kits available depending on the size of the room, number of people in the room as well. Now, one of the key drivers to remember is compliance with actually Disability Discrimination Act and the building codes as well. So when you look at an induction loop, such as, for example, low overspill parameter loop, the general guideline is the coverage has to be, the audio coverage has to be about 80% of the size of the room itself. That there are certain guidelines in terms of actually number of people that are in that room itself and need to be assisted with, for example, Europa IR systems itself. So with IR systems, unlike induction loops, the coverage is about 95%, and that's where the actually guidelines which refer to a number of, for example, receivers that need to be provided, stipulate what systems has to be in place, but most importantly, how many receivers you need to be able to provide to actually clients itself. Ease of install, fairly simple. The key thing to keep in mind, though, is with IR systems that the room or large halls, if you're deploying the large halls, you have direct light of sight itself. Now, RF transmission systems are very popular with open spaces, museums, tours, as well festivals itself. They don't provide you, actually, they don't contain the audio, but with the transceivers, that gives you the option of a two-way communication, and they cover a lot larger areas where you've got actually 2.4 RF systems communicating from the transmitters to the receivers or transceivers. Now, what we're going to sort of focus on today is the Humantechnik or domestic range itself. So, with the actual domestic range, what we're finding, as Mark said, there is obviously aging population that needs to be assisted when listening to TV listening systems or audio devices itself, but there is also a younger generation that's been exposed to, earbuds, blasting music at 65, 75 dB. Now, human speed's about 45 dB. That's 45, 46. Anything above that 60 to 70 for a long period of time can cause sustained damage, which doesn't happen straight away, but it becomes apparent over a period of time. So when we look at actually Humantechnik domestic range, what I brought here is just a couple set of samples of the products that Humantechnik had in place for quite a while and recently added to their collection. Now, like I said to Mark, 99% of my work previously was with actually commercial, and so I'm fairly new to this, but I've done some research and I'll share what I've learned with you. Now, one of the top products in the range is Earis itself. So it's a basic RF system, works on 2.4 gigahertz. Now, one of the things that Humantechnik has done is that with the actual systems, obviously they've got a base transmitters, and that's available for Earis, but they've got two different types of receivers. So you've got under-chin receiver, which is this one here, that's got a switch that turns it on or off, or they've got actually pocket receiver. Now, one of the things to remember when you deal with customers that are looking at TV listening systems is that they may have for example, they may have induction loop, or they may have actually hearing aid. So with the hearing aid, there is an option where you can buy pocket receiver because it gives you flexibility of connectivity. Some might have their favorite headphones. Someone may wear actually hearing aid where they go to T-call switch. And with the pocket receiver, they can use basically induction loop that connects to it, which comes with the pocket receiver itself. Now, one of the neat things about Earis that makes it sort of different, stand out from other product range, is the actually selectable, 5 different selectable profiles that user can choose to assist with actually listening to various TV programs. Now, I did a bit of reading on it, and basically what happens with actually TV programs, TV stations, the loudness level vary from channel to channel, from program to program. Sometimes when you listen to TV, you can watch, for example, a movie. Once the commercial kick in, the loudness of the dB jumps up. And if you are hearing impaired, all of a sudden you're going to pick in actually the audio signal that comes in itself. So what I read is the 5 profiles being designed by the German institutes that basically worked with people that are hearing impaired, and they've called it a dynamic sound hearing support system, or dynamic sound HS. So if you want to sort of read into details, all this information will be in the brochure which I have provided. But in a nutshell, what I understood is that with those profiles, once you select preferred profile, the algorithm will actually analyze the level of sound that is coming in from the actual source and balance it out to compensate for any gain. So if you sort of look at the audio sort of recording systems, obviously you've got actually headroom or gain, and everything about that will peak and cause really uncomfortable sound. So with the algorithm, what it does is it basically balances it out and maintains continuity of that system. So once you select one of those 5 profiles, the incoming audio will be the same. Even though with the unit and actually large knob, volume knob at the front, it will go up to 120 dBs. It sounds like awful loud when you're not hearing impaired, but if you're hearing impaired, that's normal. With that, once you set that profile, that maintains it right through. Another important thing with the unit itself, with the base, is that it acts as a transmitter, but also as a charger, and there's also a spare battery provided in the unit. Now, Earis, like all the other units, ship with your actually Toslink connector, your RCA connector as well, and the spare battery, which is charged in the transmitter. And with the actual unit itself, it is also used as actually standard mic. So if you, for example, listening to a program or TV program, but someone has a conversation, you can just switch it to the mic itself and a full conversation with people around you in the room itself. The key difference between actually Earis and others is actually the dynamic hearing system that dynamically adjusts the loudness level itself. With other products that we have, or the actual Audio has in the range, we've got Sonumax, which has two different models. So Sonumax 2.4, now I don't have a sample, so it looks very similar to this unit itself, and Sonumax Bluetooth. So let's have a quick chat about actually Bluetooth one, which is quite interesting. With today's sort of smartphones, with all the actual Bluetooth enabled devices, there's multiple audio sources that you can bring in and wanna listen to. So with Sonumax, like with all the other range, when you purchase the set, there are two options. You can purchase the set, which has a transmitter and under-chin receiver, or you can purchase the set that's got a actually transmitter, which is a bass itself, or have a pocket receiver. Now with Sonumax range, rather than having it just on the box itself, rather having just actually a receiver, which is basically like a sort of pocket receiver, like a round pad with a 3.5mm audio port, the pocket receiver comes with actually mounted neck loop, so it's permanently attached to the unit itself, primarily for people that have actually hearing aid itself. With the actually under-chin option itself, similar design. Now, because of it's a Bluetooth unit itself, you can pair it up with your phone as well. So you can pair up your phone to the actual base. So it automatically picks incoming calls, and it's got what I would say like priority ducking or basically mute options. So if I listen to TV and I've got incoming call, it'll actually mute the actual audio signal from the TV and takes incoming call itself as well. It's got actually volume or gain adjustment at the front. It's not the large one like on Earis, just actually slide it at the front, like a fader that slides up and down to adjust your volume. Unlike Earis, it's got 3 presets. So you can select 3 factory presets, but it doesn't have the dynamic sound adjustment itself. So it actually relies on you sort of adjusting the actual gain or volume to your liking itself. If someone, for example, doesn't want a receiver with either under-chin receiver or pocket receiver, you can buy just the actual bass itself. So there's actually Sonumax bass unit only. And the bass Bluetooth unit, you can sync it with your audio sources that you'll have. So you may have, for example, Bluetooth headphones, which work well for you. You may have actually Bluetooth radio, sync it with that. Again, the unit itself has got a traditional toslink and audio connectivity as well. So the base unit still connects to your TV using traditional SPDIF or toslink connection. Now, all the cabling and all the accessories are provided, so you feel free to come in, have a play with it, and just touch and feel itself. I mean, the quality. One of the important things to note is because of the actually obviously personal connection of a Humantechnik owner to the hearing augmentation market, they do all the R&D internally. So they've got a large factory facility in Germany. Manufacturing is done in a lot of companies in China or other countries, but the design's done in-house. So they're not OEMing other products or other someone else's products themselves as well. With the actual Bluetooth device itself and Earis, the average battery life is anything between sort of 6 to 8 hours, about 6 hours, and the recharge time is about 9 hours. But keep in mind, you've got a spare battery sitting in the base that's recharging while you're using your actual receiver itself. Now, the key thing to remember is range itself. So basically, 2.4 units will give you larger range, about 25, 30 meters, Bluetooth about 10 meters. So if someone says, I've got a home theater, it's about 15 meters. Bluetooth's not going to really cut it in the last row. So worth mentioning that as well. And based on that, Sonumax also has a 2.4 gigahertz unit itself. So in terms of the actual options, with the actual Sonumax 2.4, you'll have bass and then under-chin receiver, or you got actually pocket receiver itself. Same 3 presets, longer range comparing to the Bluetooth range itself. And with the actual product, you've got actually pocket receiver, which allows for various flexible connectivity options itself as well. Now, with actual units itself, like I said earlier on, they all come in with all the accessories already provided, instruction, warranty card as well. So it's all part of the package itself. These are primarily sort of key products that we started off with and that we're going to actually have available as well. Look, there isn't sort of much, because you can talk till the cows come home about the product. I'm going to leave some samples for you guys to try it because you can't talk about audio, you need to listen to audio. That's how I look at it. I can tell you that it's going to be great. Look, until you listen to it and compare it to other sources, you can't really tell how it's going to work. One thing to keep in mind, like I said, a key point of difference in terms of actually Bluetooth and 2.4 unit, just the flexibility of connections with the actual Sonumax Bluetooth unit. If someone obviously questions pricing on Earis because it is a premium product, just remember dynamic hearing system or hearing support, where it does give you the actually much better quality, and it gives you continuous quality of audio and the loudness level. And yeah, when you're talking about TV loudness levels, you just change from one station to another, and there is no standards. There is a standard, but very few sort of TV stations maintain it. That you got continuous loudness level across TV channels. Now, with people that are hearing impaired, it is a big issue. Just having that jump and that blasting sound coming near you when you least expect it, and this is what actually stops it and prevents it and modulates it as well.
Peter, obviously with hearing impaired, the hearing level on the left ear and on the right ear is often different.
Yeah.
If you've got your favourite Bluetooth headphones, one of the features that they'll be asking for is the adjustment.
Adjust the levels, yeah. So you can adjust the levels on the left and right as well.
So even if you're getting the Sonumax unit only and you're pairing it up with your own Bluetooth speakers, you can still adjust left and right level.
What I just want to, so there is actually basically there are headphones, like a separate headphones that Humantechnik has available where it's got a left and right gain adjustments. I don't know, I'll have to check on that whether it does give you, because what I see, it doesn't have left and right. So it adjusts the levels to the profile that you selected, but it won't be separate left and right itself. They do have actually separate headphones where you can adjust left and right audio itself. So there is actually like a separate headphones with adjustable with adjustable gains on left and right. Obviously with pocket receivers, they also support a work with cochlear implant clients as well. So that will work with the systems as well. So it won't be sort of under chin receiver, but just a pocket receiver itself as well. That's a good question. So, from what I read, it's basically on both and maintains the actual gain on both itself. I haven't seen the option where it can sort of adjust left or right itself. So I'm not going to sort of continue talking about the same thing and repeat sort of things that you probably already heard. Look, if you got any questions in regards to hearing augmentation or whether it's Humantechnik or Audio Europa, feel free to reach out to me and sort of let me know. I mean, the way I see it, you don't want to make it overly complicated for a client, because if you make it sound like it's overly complicated, it's just not going to work. The key drivers that I would probably remember is always identifying where and how the client's gonna use it. If it's primarily TV system, and so we just got TV, that's how we're gonna use it. Yes, we are concerned about loudness levels, want to maintain integrity, sort of, I suppose, consistency of audio. I would probably look something like Earis. If someone's got a number of audio devices, it could be radio, it could be sort of Bluetooth, for example, CD player, then I would probably look at a Bluetooth-based solution. And like I said earlier on, like sort of Mike alluded, if someone has favorite headphones that may have left and right adjustment, you can just basically sell actual Bluetooth base. So it still connects to your audio device, but it pairs up with other Bluetooth-enabled devices. That gives you a fair bit of flexibility of connectivity. If that's not important and someone has certain budgetary constraints, there is Sonumax 2.4 as well, which has similar design, but unlike Bluetooth, doesn't give you that flexibility of connection. It still has 3 preset profiles you can select. They all have upper gains, anything from 120 to 125 dB across all 3 of those as well. So if someone's got profound hearing loss, obviously you can adjust the gain levels quite considerably as well. Not sure if we're going over or under, but if you guys got, like I said, any questions about, hearing augmentations, or if you came across clients that have specific questions, whether it's sort of individuals or commercial clients, fire away.
Just one question on the commercial side. Often our customers will have tenders and plans, and they'll ask for our assistance in drawing up designs. Yep. Many of the brands will be charging for that process of drawing up designs. With you,
we don't charge. We don't charge. We've got 24, 48 hours turnaround. It's probably why a lot of clients, we've been reasonably successful with a lot of clients. We don't charge like Amplifier like $500 or whatever. We don't. We've got internal person. What we could also do, if you've got someone internally that wants to get familiar, Audio Europa has got a free software available online, And we have recorded, sort of similar to what James does, extensive tutorial, how to use that software and how to do designs as well. So the software not only does designs, it does build of material, it does a loop layout for you as well, and prints the coverage report as well. So depending on the design that we put in place, we'll give you extra coverage to the room as well. So we can input obviously drawings to scale. The only thing we ask when you provide us with drawings is just to check the floor, in the metal content in the floor, whether it's a heavily reinforced floor, whether it's a concrete slab, whether it's a timber floor, because that will have impact on the loop and the current that goes through the loop itself. Sometimes we have clients that do ceiling mount. So we've got for example, shielded loop cable that we can run through the ceiling as well. So we can do designs based on that, and we've got different sizes of 1.8 to 2.5 mil cabling can put in design, but we won't charge you for it. And I think I've done some designs and we have provided some of the solutions for your team as well. So yeah, not a problem, gents. Or ladies, beg your pardon. Yeah.
Also, Humantechnik, are there any major venues that have Humantechnik within them in Australia?
Humantechnik, which is domestic range, no.
No, commercial.
Audio Europa, yes. So we've got a few museums, hotels in Sydney. We've got schools that have IR systems. I've got a few units now that have used our IR solutions as well. We've got, I think Vic units going to be deploying it. We've got quite a few units in South Australia that are using our solutions as well. And we've got some of the law firms. I've got a couple of law firms that are using our extra induction loops as well. So yes, there's quite a few cases of installs that we have provided.
And in pharmacies, Humantechnik, are you still doing the units at pharmacies where they...
See, interesting question, because Humantechnik we basically started, I was just explaining to John, 99% of our business was primarily in commercial environment. So I've only sort of started looking at products 2 days ago. So it was a bit of a crash course trying to come up to speed. But Humantechnik, interesting what Mark said, sort of Humantechnik was the actual company that started the whole venture. Audio Europa came in about 10 years after Humantechnik. So the core business for the company is basically domestic with commercials expanding quite substantially as well, the new amps that they just released as well.
Is there pharmacies you'll notice that they have the unit where it's a plate and it shows hearing impaired on it, and the pharmacist will talk to the client in one side?
Sure. That's LA90. So if you walk in a store on the left-hand side, there's a picture of Audio Europa LA90s. It's what they call counter loop. So what counter loop does, it's got a coil unit built inside. It's about 30-meter coil unit. So it's got actually two-way communication. You can talk in the unit, it gives you about 2 square meters coverage, or there is LA90 set. So if you need to, for example, deploy it in a cashier window, you've got a handset and you've got a built-in mic as well. And that's pretty much what Mark said, just actually sort of one-on-one. And the unit's battery powered. So if you basically need to take it from place to place, you can pick it up, gives you 4 hours battery life, about 9 hours recharge. It's great in actually healthcare in sort of hospital wards. Because if you've got a nurse station and the doctor needs to hear or see someone who's hearing impaired, just pick up the unit, put on the bedside table, you have a two-way conversation. So it works with actually T-call, that you can switch it to T rather than mic itself. Or there are other solutions like a LA70, which is like a small digital amp that goes underneath the table, portable loop, and you just drive audio straight into that as well, and gives you about 15 to 20 meters of coverage, but it doesn't require you to lay the loops. So sometimes you may have, clients that may have small boardrooms, and they'll have a bit of extra flexibility itself. So that's another unit. Because of its sort of discrete size, it's not something that is taking rack space or taking sort of shelf space itself. So that's more the portable designs itself that Audio Europa has in place.
There are a couple of others also.
Sure.
One of the common requests that we get from our trade customers is, can they borrow the field strength meters? And we've been asked on a number of occasions. John's keeping stock, so yeah, just for the guys, that's possible. We can lend out our stock if they need to check a job. The other one was the telephone hearing loop amplifier. That's another product from Humantechnik.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked into that range, so I'm not going to just give you something which is absolutely not correct. So I'd like to at least read about the product, touch and feel. Then, so yeah, they do have actually digital radio. They have also like,
digital radio.
there's a whole range. They've got ones that got like a sort of bell alarm or bell alerts
Alarm
as well.
clock.
Someone rings the doorbell, the visual cue comes in. So we've started, just on your point, we started the TV listening ones to start off with, because the range is quite large. But I thought rather than going entire range, perhaps focus on something that is most commonly used, and over a sort of period of time we can bring additional products and have them available as well. All the Europa guys or Humantechnik guys are sort of on European holiday, so we're finding the things and the replies from them at this point of time are slightly delayed, but once they're back to full strength, I think about 2 weeks from now, we'll get some more samples of other products as well. But one thing I want to do is make sure that it's done properly with all the supporting material. Like with these guys, we've got brochures, so we've got actually a bit of collaterals that could go with the products. Want to do likewise with others. I just don't want to throw the boxes here and guys say, what's this? I'm going to say,
Yeah.
no, that's one. But you're right, they do have a complete range. And I understand they want a lot of contracts with HK facilities in Canada, in US as well, because of the thing they provide the whole lot. But another important driver is they can also look and provide actually commercial solution as well. So it's almost like one-stop shop.
I think it's interesting. I mean, from our point of view, from our business, we have a product called an RF900, which is wireless headphones. And over the years, we've sold tens of thousands of those headphones. Yet, if you have a look at the sales for the hearing impaired, it pales in comparison. So it makes me wonder whether we're always selling the right product. So if it's an elderly person, they're tending to use just the standard headphones and just pumping up the volume, obviously.
Do you know what I've sort of read? With actually pocket receivers, you not necessarily need to have a hearing impair. It's more the privacy that you give to someone sitting in their room that doesn't necessarily want to watch the same TV. And because of RF connectivity, you're not hiding behind the cables, and the bays are quite small, so the transmitter is really small with a Toslink connector. You can connect it to your TV, put it next to the TV, and have that flexibility. At the same time, the built-in mic, if you don't want to take your headphones out, you can switch and have actually mic which is amplified through the transmitter unit to two-way conversation as well. So it's a bit of a broader market. Obviously, people traditionally have wireless headphones or wireless cams as well. But I suppose with these units itself, the one that probably stands as a Bluetooth is a range of connectivities that you could achieve as well. And the fact that you got a preset profiles, audio profiles that you can set the unit to as well. But like I said earlier, guys, just check out the samples, connect them, and check the quality of audio, and then perhaps compare it to just the headphones itself and see how it works as well. I suppose one of the things with the large headphones, you need to have them properly fitted, because if you don't have them properly fitted, after 2 or 3 hours, they become really painful. With these ones, you got the various buds, so they're sort of less intrusive. Obviously, with pocket receiver, you can just pick the headphones or in-ears, or whatever you'd like to use with those as well. Would you guys have any other questions? But look, if there is nothing that comes to mind, my contact details are in the folder. So just drop me a quick email. Hey, I've got a question about maybe not this, but if you got questions about other medicine products, John has the details. And the PDF which I show you, it's got actually reference points that I quickly if James doesn't mind, I'll quickly just sort of show you with this website itself or with this prices. It's basically reference point to give you an idea about other solutions that we do as well. I mean, anything from your sort of PDZ cameras, digital signage. I'm not sure if you guys do much of the digital signage, but we do have entry-level solution which is cloud-based as well, and I can talk about it as well if it comes to mind. But have a look through it, and if it piques your interest from any of the product range, feel free to reach out and I can send you more info on there as well. But I think that's probably we've sort of wrapped up everything that we need to talk about. But I'm here for another session, guys, so feel free to come up and ask anything that may be of interest. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.